Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is the Captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. Today, we actually have early Wilds of Eldraine League. So, sit back, relax, hit that subscribe button. It keeps the channel sponsor free. And we're going to dive right into it. If you don't want your Wilds of Eldraine's spoiler season ruined, you probably want to turn it off now. But don't worry, if it hasn't been ruined yet, Wizards will make sure they do it for you. So, anyway, but more honestly, let's actually look at this. Some sweet cards. I'm excited for the set. So let's just get right into it. So first off, we have Biluna, I guess. Grand Squall. We have a Teamer card, red, blue, green, for a 4/4 that has trample and permanent spells you cast that have a venture cost one less to cast, which is really cool. Also, as an instant, which is Teamer colors and 5 mana, mill 7 cards, then put all cards that have an adventure from among the mill cards into your hand. This is going to be a great card for adventure decks and commander to help that draw ability, and it's really cool. And with that said, before we go any further, one thing I want to mention about these cards. Well, how did we get them? Well, if you'll notice, we have the silver Magic the Gathering symbol in the corner. I'm going to guess that a store somewhere or somebody, not pointing a finger, got a hold of some store F&M packs that you hand out as prizes for the set, which have already been sent to the store, or not sent to a store, maybe in shipping, who knows. And they cracked these packs to see what the cards were, because all the cards have this except for the commons, which we know the common cards don't have this symbol on them. So very interesting. We'll get to see who Wizard sends the Pinkertons after next. Anyway, the next card we have, Realm Scorcher Hellkite, 2 red and 4 for a 4/6 flyer with haste. It has something called Bargain. You may sacrifice an artifact, enchantment, or token as you cast this spell. Okay, that's interesting. Now, when the Hellkite enters the battlefield, if it was bargained, add 4 mana of any color combination, in any combination of colors. So, if you sacrifice an artifact, when you play this for 6, you get 4 mana back. Deals 1 damage to any target. So basically, you could shock something. Um, I mean, it's a really good card. It's gonna be great for the Dragon Commander deck. Um, I think it might be a bit much for a Mythic as far as cost wise to be very impactful, but still a sweet card. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it is a 4/6, which means it doesn't die to almost anything, literally. All right, moving on. Next we have Food Fight. Red and 1. This enchantment, artifacts you control have sacrifice this artifact. It deals damage to any target equal to 1 plus the number of permanents named Food Fight you control. Well, that's kind of interesting. So if you have like 4 Food Fights in play, all your artifacts deal 4 damage. Someone's gonna try to make a deck out of this. I feel it in my bones. And it can't be commander because just having one of them so everybody does 1 damage is just not gonna cut it. Uh, but in standard, maybe draft, it's probably not gonna be good in draft. I mean, what's the odds you getting 2 or 3 of these as rares? Well, I mean, maybe pretty good if nobody wants to draft it because it sucks. But whatever. Moving on. All right, next we have the Fairy Dream Thief. 1 black for a 1/1 flying. When it enters the battlefield, surveil 1. Not terrible. Black and 2, exile the Dream Thief from your graveyard. You may draw a card and lose a life. I've seen worse. I think this is pretty good uncommon. Um, Gonna be great for ninjutsu decks or what have you. Pretty good for draft. I think it's a pretty good card for uncommon. Feral Encounter. So 2 green sorcery. Interesting. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may exile a creature card from among them, put the rest at the bottom of the random order. You may cast the exile card this turn. At the beginning of your next combat phase this turn, target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to up to 1 target creature you don't control. All right, so this is interesting. Let's break this down. So the first thing it does, it lets you look at top 5 cards to get a creature that you may or may not cast, or you may not even find one, to be honest. But with all that said, it is still a combat spell. Um, So yeah, so it's still good no matter what. Because if you choose nothing, all the cards go on the bottom in random order, so you don't lose anything. So there's no reason not to play this. This seems amazing as a green combat spell for draft, limited. I mean, especially Commander, it's a search spell for the top 5 cards as well. This seems really good. I like this a lot. Um, yeah, this is gonna be something. I like how Red Riding Hood's fighting the big bad wolf. Anyway, moving on. Next we have Stroke of Midnight. So white and 2, instant, destroy target non-land permanent. Its controller creates a 1/1 white human creature token. Did we just get a better generous gift? I think we did. This thing's an uncommon. Generous gift just came back out in Commander Masters, as we all know, and it was very popular. Um, and I'm here to tell you. Let me see if I can find it. I got one sitting here somewhere, or maybe I don't. Did someone buy them all? Holy cow! Someone did buy them all. Um, Generous Gift does the exact same thing, but it gives a 3/3 elephant. This gives a 1/1 white human creature. This is insanely good. This probably could, well, not a rare, but because it's 3 mana. But this is going to be top tier card for any deck playing white, any deck in Commander. The decks in the older formats that use Generous Gift will be switching to this. This is going to be the next big thing. So expect to see lots from it. And on my previous thing about the star, you can also see here from the bottom it says promo pack because I could just look there, I guess. Just now noticed that. Like I said, I'm looking at these for the first time with you, so I'm not that dumb. Although that is really debatable. Moving on. So next we have Tangle Span Lookout, green and 2 for a 2/3 vanilla. Well, nope, not vanilla, sorry. Whenever an aura enters the battlefield under your control, draw a card. Alright, so we got more enchantment stuff. That is the weirdest face I have ever seen. He's enjoying this way too much. I mean, this is fine. It's just another card for the enchantment decks. It's not bad. It's just the thing. The End. So, 2 black and 2. If you have 5 or less life, it only costs 2 black. It's an instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Search its controller's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that permanent and exile them. That player shuffles, then draws the card for each card exiled from their hand this way. This is very remnant back to the spells like this that you would cast to just get something out of someone's hand and graveyard without a target on the battlefield. This one, for the same price and in some cases even cheaper, lets you target one they've played and then rip the rest out of their out of their deck. So this is going to be huge. Vraska's Contempt for the exact same mana was a huge card, still is in Commander and some other formats because of what it does. And Vraska's Contempt at one point was a $20 card in Standard. This is also going to be a $20 card because it does the exact same thing. It exiles creatures or planeswalkers for the same cost. You don't gain 2 life, but you get to rip every other copy of that card out of their deck so you don't play against it. That, I believe, is a good trade-off and better. And it just has a kicker of, if you're not doing well in the game, you get to cast it cheaper just because. So yeah, this is a sweet card. This is easily going to be a $20 card in Standard, I think. Again, just like Vraska's Contempt was. Spellbook Vendor, White and 1 for a 2/2. Got Vigi. At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 1 colorless. If you do, create a Sorcerer Roll token attached to target creature you control. If you control another roll on it, put that roll into the graveyard. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has whenever this creature attacks, scry 1. So that's pretty cool. Basically, this comes in for 2. On your turn, you give something +1/+1. You scry when you attack. And if you decide to put it on something else, you have to get rid of the other one, which is cool. That way you can't just stack these things on top of stuff everywhere. Kind of looks like a fixed, I forget what the white card is now, the one that just automatically lets you put a counter on a creature without scry. This seems to be a fixed version of that, and that card is very popular, and I think this one will be too. Next we have Expel the Interlopers. 2 white and 3. Let me guess, Wrath? Sorcery. Choose a number between 0 and 10. Destroy all creatures with power greater than or equal to the chosen number. It's a wrath, and it's an interesting one. I mean, you want to kill everything, you just say 0. If you want to save something, you can save something up to 9 power if you really want to do that. But still interesting. It's going to have some play. It's probably going to be great for Commander, not even going to lie. And I'm sure it's probably going to see some standard play just because every standard needs a Wrath. Moving on, next we have Gruff Triplets. I thought that was going to say Truffles. Jesus, I'm so hungry apparently. 3 green and 3 for a 3/3. Wow, 6 mana. It has Trample. When it enters the battlefield, if it isn't a token, create 2 tokens as copies. Okay, for 6 mana you get 3 3/3s. All right, that makes a little more sense. When it dies, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to its power on each creature you control named Gruff Trip. Wow. So they start off with 3 3/3s, you let one die, then you end up with 2 6/6s. If that dies, you end up with a 12/12, and they all trample. This is going to be busted. This thing's going to be so busted. Everything from graveyard manipulation to just playing it out of the hand. Like, oh boy, it's going to be something. Next we have Song of the Totentants. I'm probably butchering that. Totentants. Anyway. Red and X, create X 1/1 black rat creature tokens with this creature can't block. Creatures you control gain haste in a turn. Wow, it's a fireball with legs. Well, it's lots of little fireballs with little legs that run slow but are still dangerous. Gonna be great for rat decks. These don't go away. They don't exile or nothing. So, yeah, a little Pied Piper action. I like it. Next we have Asinine Antics. 2 blue and 2. You can okay. So there's apparently a cycle of this. Casting for 2 or less. You may cast as though it has flash if you pay. Oh wait, 2 or more. If you pay 2 colorless more, you can cast it with flash. So 4 mana or 6 mana versus 4. For each creature your opponent controls, create a cursed roll token attached to that creature. If you control another roll on it, put that one into the graveyard. Enchanted creatures a 1/1. So if you have +1/+1 roll counters on something, you can turn them all into 1/1s. They lose their +1/+1. But then at the same time, if that guy's well, no, because he loses the ability to do it. So, but anyway, if you play that white guy again, the bookseller. Afterwards, you can put a +1/+1 onto the creature, causing the 1/1 roll token to come off, making it itself again plus the +1/+1. I know it probably sounded like a lot, but trust me, there's some mechanics in there that'll do some shenanigans. All right, so moving on. Next we have Spiteful Hexmage, 1 black for a 3/2. Whoa. When it enters the battlefield, create a cursed roll token attached to target creature you control. If you control another roll token, obviously put that one into the graveyard. Enchanted creatures 1/1. All right, okay, that makes sense. So basically, you get a 1/1, and if you get the token off of him, he becomes a 3/2. All right, so this whole roll token thing is going to be a onboard shenanigan, Destiny style thing. I mean, he's going to be okay, I guess. It's whatever. Moving on, next we have Scolding Viper, red and 1 for a 2-something. I'm going to guess 2/2. Anyway, as a creature, whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana cost 3 or less, Scolding Viper deals 1 damage to them. Oh, it's a weaker Eidolon the Great Revel. It has Steam Clean for a blue and 1. Target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, or return target non-land permanent to its owner's hands. Okay, so it's an Eidolon of the Great Revel that has a bounce attached to it as well. This is probably going to see quite a bit of play. Just because of the utility. It's really good. And I'm sure this is probably a 2/2. If it's any bigger than that, this thing's busted. If it's any smaller than that, it's irrelevant. So, whatever. Next we have Restless Biovok. I'm probably butchering that. Probably something to do with an ox or bovine. Bivo. But anyway. So enters the battlefield tap. This is another one of the man land cycles. Red white. For red, white, and 1, it becomes a 2/2 Ox, red, white Ox until end of turn. It's still a land. Just an Ox, nothing special. Whenever it attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Okay, so it pumps itself. So it's a 3/3 on the first swing, then a 4/4, then a 5/5. This is a basically red-white Raging Ravine. That's a little smaller to start with. So this is kind of cool. Like that. That's exciting. So we have Restless Spire. This man land comes to play tap for red and blue. For a blue and a red, it becomes a 2/1 blue-red elemental token with as long as it's your turn, this creature has first strike, still land. When it attacks, you scry 1. I mean, it's fine, I guess. I mean, I think I like the Ox better just because Raging Ravine's a thing. But man lands in general are good, and these are cheap ones, so yeah. Next we have Restless Vinestalk. So this is a blue and a green tap land. For blue, green, and 3, which is 5, you get a 5/5 green-blue plant creature token with trample. That's a lot. Whenever it attacks, up to one other target creature has base power and toughness 3/3 to end a turn. So this is kind of cool. If they only have one blocker, you can make it small enough that it can't kill your land, no matter how big it is. So that's really cool, but investing 5 mana is a lot because that means you got to have 6 on the battlefield. But hey, it's a good man land. I mean, it is. I like how it looks. It looks kind of like a shark. Sharknado. Anyway, moving on. Next we have Horned Lock Whale. Oof, what a name. So, the adventure is a blue colorless. The owner of target attacking creature you don't control, okay, puts it on top or bottom of their library. So you can't put your own stuff, just the opponent's. No, hang on a second. The owner of target attacking creature you don't. Okay, so if anything your opponent swings with, so if they take something of yours and swing at you, you can use this, and then you can decide where to put it. You just can't control it. Wow, there's so much weird wording. Anyway, 2 blue and 4 for a 6/6 afterwards. If you just cast it, it has flash, which is cool. Ward, and when it enters the battlefield, tapped unless it's your turn. Seems like a definite kill card for blue in standard. All right, next we have Raging Battle Mouse. Oh my lord, that is fantastic. Okay, sorry. Like I said, I haven't looked at any of these. Red and 1 for a 2/1. The second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less. Wow, is that amazing? That is so good. Celebration. Beginning of your combat on your turn, if 2 or more non-land permanents enter the battlefield under your control this turn, target creature control gets +1/+1 to end a turn. I like this. This is pretty cool. Not only because it's a Raging Battle Mouse, but these are good abilities. Yeah, this is going to be something, especially in draft. And in standard, like the ability to make your second spell cost 1 less is like gaining 1 mana every turn. This could be huge in many ways. All right, now we're going to look at Imodain the Pyro Hammer. Okay. 2 red and 2 for a 4/4. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery spell, whenever an instant or sorcery spell you control, that targets only a single creature deals damage to that creature, Imodain deals that much damage to each opponent. Oh my. Oh my. So I can hear the commander guys salivating now, and if you're not, you should be. Because nothing's got to be better than putting this bad girl on the battlefield. Woman. Anyway, female. On the battlefield, and then proceeding, if no one deals with it, or if you have lots of mana because the games went long, to shock someone's creature for 2 and deal 2 to everybody else, or just fireball something for 10 and do 10 damage to everybody. This is going to be hilarious. Oh my lord, I like it. And it's going to be good in standard too. It's a 4 mana 4/4 with this ability in standard. I mean, it's just... you get the 2-for-1 everything because you kill something with damage and you do it to the opponent as well. It turns all your spells that don't target your opponent into spells that target your opponent. So this is going to be a great card. I like it. I hope it's not busted too much. Next we have Sentinel of Lost Lore. Why is he so happy? 2 green and 1 for an Elf Knight. That's a 3/4. It's probably a pretty good rate. When he enters the battlefield, you choose one or more. Return target card you own in exile that has Adventure on it to your hand. Okay, that's really cool. Put target card you don't own. Put target card you don't own in exile that has an Adventure on the bottom of its owner's library. Okay. Exile target player's graveyard. So this is going to be absurd in draft because it's a green removal spell for any creature that has Adventure on it. Plus, you can put an Adventure card you've already used back into your hand to use again. You can exile graveyard, stop shenanigans. Not to mention, it's a 3-mana 3/4. This is going to be a great card. I like it a lot. Next, we have Mosswood Dread Knight. Green and 1 for a 3/2 with trample. When it dies, you may cast it from your graveyard as an Adventure until the end of your next turn. Okay. The Adventure is black and one colorless. You draw a card, lose a life. Interesting. So this is a really interesting card because I don't know if there's any shenanigans or anything going on with this, but basically this thing doesn't die because if you swing with it and they kill it, you cast it that turn to put it into exile as an Adventure, and then you can just put it back into play and repeat process every turn and draw cards. That would be great for draft. It may be broken in standard as well. Um, we'll have to wait and see if that second casting causes it to actually go away forever. But the way I'm reading this, it doesn't. And you could just cycle these things forever. Wow, it seems good. Green's getting a lot of good cards. Next we have Hilda's Crown of Winter. Okay. Snow Queen, anybody? 3 colorless legendary artifact. For 1, tap target creature. This ability costs 1 less to activate during your turn. So it's free. Wow, it's a 3-mana icy on your turn. 3 colorless, sacrifice the Crown of Winter, draw a card for each tapped creature your opponent controls. Oh wow. Oh wow. So if you're getting beat up by like 3 or 4 creatures, you can draw tons of cards off this. And notice, I want to point this out. It says opponents. So if you're playing Commander, at the end of someone's turn, when all their creatures are tapped because they're beating each other up, or maybe you, who knows, you could, for 3 mana, possibly draw anywhere from 1 to 10 plus cards. That is absurd. Wow, is this card good for Commander? Are all the cards good for Commander anymore? Jesus. Anyway. Next we have 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice. See how they... Oh, sorry. White and 2, create a 1/1 white mouse creature token. For 2 and 3, create a token that's a copy of target token you control. That's better than you think it is. You don't have to make a copy of the mouse token. If you've got another token that's really big and beefy or whatever, you just start zapping copies of that bad boy. And then 4, creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain vigilance. Wow, this thing is so good. And it's so good because of the second one, not because of the first one. The last one's good too, but if there's a way to get a 3/3 or a 4/4 token on the battlefield, and you start making copies of that thing, whoo, daddy. Whoo, daddy. Yeah, good card. Next here we have the Thunderous Debut. Okay. 2 green and 6. It has Bargain, which as you know we've determined is you sacrifice an artifact or enchantment or token as you cast a spell, any token. Look at the top 20 cards of your library. It's 8 mana, okay. You may reveal up to 2 creature cards from among them. If this spell was Bargain, put the revealed cards onto the battlefield, otherwise put them in your hand. This is okay at best. And here's why I say that. There's a good... 8 mana means it can be countered or dealt with rather easily. 8 mana is not easy to get to in most stretch of the imagination, excuse me. And you have to have an artifact, enchantment, or token that survives the battlefield for this to actually put them into play. Now, with that being said, this is still an amazing card, which you can put stuff into play and just wreck your opponent's whole life. But yeah, probably more... This is definitely more of a probably commander card. I mean, there'll be places for this probably in standard to some degree, but we'll have to really see what's in standard and how the decks evolve to see if this is going to be a game player. Next we have Heart Flame Duelist. Nice. So red and 2, it deals 3 damage to any target. That's okay. For a white and 1, you get a 3/1 that says instant and sorcery spells you control have lifelink. This is pretty nice. This goes along with that other red creature, so apparently red white's a thing. That when you shock your opponent, it deals damage also to someone else. Red white lifelink seems to be a thing in this deck or in this format. So yeah, this is a good rare. It's gonna definitely see some draft play, and it's right on par with seeing some mono white play or red white play in standard. Next we have Lord Skitter's Blessing. Oh my lord, Lord Skitter. So this must be the Pied Piper. Why is this giant rat giving him the flute? Anyway, black and 1 enchantment. Lord Skitter's Blessing enters the battlefield. Create a Wicked Roll token attached to target creature you control. Creature gets +1/+1. When this aura is put into the graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life. Interesting. At the beginning of your draw step, if you control an enchanted creature, you lose 1 life and you draw a card. And you draw an additional card. Wow. So this is like your personal Howling Mind. Phyrexian Arena. There we go. This is a Phyrexian Arena that's stipulated. But when you play it, it gives you the ability to get the card. This may have too many requirements to get you to draw that card to be good. But if you draw 1 card off of it and you replace it for 2 mana, you've basically broke even, and that's fine. If you get 2, now you're just at a bonus. So it's going to be interesting. I'm sure this will probably see some kind of play. Next we have Torch the Tower. So 1 red instant with Bargain. Torch the Tower deals 2 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If the spell was Bargain, instead it deals 3 damage to that permanent. You scry 1. If a permanent was dealt damage by Torch the Tower this turn would die. You exile it instead. So, I mean, this is fine, but it's really just a worse version of a card that we had before. That was, I think it was deal 2, sacrifice an artifact, I think, and deal 4. So it's a worse version of that. You can't target players still. I mean, it is just a common. Scrying is nice. Exiling's cool as well. So probably some trade-offs there, but it'll see play. Next, we have anything? Nope, looks like that's it, guys. A little bit of a long one today. We had a lot come out. Thanks a lot for watching. Do appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe. It's right down there in the corner. There's also a big button with the word on it. If you don't know where that is, look harder, I guess. So until next time, be kind. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you across from the game table.